Hello, Capricorn. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Star Spinner Tarot by Trungles. I'm trying not to screw it up again. I think it was Pisces and Cancer that I screwed it up on. There's a website for them if you're interested, chronicledbooks.com. Focus! Alright, so if you freeze frame there, you can search that out if you desire to. If you want, of course, just want the option there for you. Supportive Oracle cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards. There's also a tarot deck by Tori Hartman. So there's two different decks. This one is illustrated by Gretchen Raish Baskin. I think the other ones, the artwork is by Katrina Sokolova. If you want to find that other deck, go to watkinspublishing.com or watkinspublishing.co.uk or go to torihartman.com because they're both her decks. So wherever you want to search it out, I'm sure if you want any of that information or any of the stuff, I'm sure Tori would be glad to supply it to you. However that works, you know what I mean. She'd be glad that you did. What do we have for Capricorn? There's more. Okay. Perception. Well, did I shuffle these? Yeah, I did. Did I shuffle these? Soulmate at the bottom. Soulmate's a tricky card, in my opinion. It's telling me that something's coming together the way it needs to. Soulmate energy tends to be quite rough. It's not a popular opinion, but I feel like, long story short, when soulmates come in, you're going to spend eternity with them. They don't come just to hang out. They come to help you get through the tough lessons, kind of like you're avoiding this, so you won't avoid me, so I'm going to drive you crazy, and we're going to deal with it that way. That's soulmate. Now, soul family coming in is usually the more positive energy, more enjoyable energy. What is going on with this? I'm being attacked by this blanket. It's great. That's only here to block out the sunlight. Okay. What do we have happening here? There's like, is there a stalemate or is there you don't want to? Because that's like a strength of Capricorn. If you decide like this isn't going well, you can slow it down and be like, listen, we're not going to do this. You can do all these things to try to push me where you want to push me. I'm just not going to move. That's a strength of Capricorn, in my opinion. Kind of like, no, I'm not going to be bullied. I'm not going to allow that. Unless it's like, you know, unless it's this blanket, apparently. Then I will be bullied. I'm not a Capricorn, though. And I feel like holding your ground, holding your ground is good. How do I say this? The easiest way to say this, I think, is be careful what you say. Because when you have something to say, it holds weight. People usually hear Capricorn, especially when Capricorn's not happy and they have a message to give. That message is usually very clear and concise and makes an impact. And it's not so much about knowing what you want to say, it's more about the outcome later. I feel like there's something about we want to be careful what we say, because it just makes more work for us in the long run. We want to be careful about, what do you want to be careful about what you're saying? There's something going on here where I'm very stressed, and I feel like the mechanics are one thing. It's kind of like this is all happening, and the mechanics about this and that makes sense to you. That's not even a question. But it's like the emotional component, why is it like that? That's like, there's a question mark here. Like, you know, you leave the ball on the table, you don't secure it, it rolls off the table and it breaks. So if it's a glass ball, we're just saying. That's the mechanics. Like, okay, that was on the table, it wasn't secured, it rolled off, it broke. But why was that there? Why was it not secured? And who put it there and why? Those are my question marks. Like, why was that even there? Like, isn't it obvious that if you put a glass ball on a table and you don't secure it, there's a good chance it's going to roll off, and if it rolls off, it's probably going to hit the floor. If it hits the floor, it's probably going to break. Isn't that obvious? But it's kind of like, what was going on? Was somebody in a rush? You know, was it secure at one point and then whatever was securing it, somebody took that away, and then it was unsecure later. For example, did somebody put that on the table, secure it with a couple books, then somebody else were like, oh, I need those books, took the books, walked away, didn't pay attention to what it was securing, and then that happened. Like, why? What's going on here? What caused this to happen? Because the Hanged Man with the Nine of Swords is telling me, I don't understand why you would do that. Why would you just leave that on the table without securing it? And the question is, was it at one point secure and somebody else changed how it went? That's happened. I've seen those type of things play out with other people. Kind of like, I don't understand why this person did that. They should have done this, that, and the other thing. And then you find out, well, they did originally, they started going that direction, and then this happened and threw it all off balance. They didn't get a chance to finish it, or somebody else came in behind them and undid that and left it unsecure. It's kind of like, the front gate should have been locked so the dog couldn't get out. Well, they did lock the front gate. Then somebody else came by, ran in, got what they wanted, ran back out, and didn't bother to lock it, and that's why problems happened. It's all about perception. There's something about, I feel like once you find out the details, there's something about details here, because it's kind of like the mechanics make sense, like that shouldn't have happened. You're there, that's what you know. You definitely know that. But the question marks, we got to fill in those question marks. Because there's things here that do not make sense. I feel like they're going to be points of contention. Because this also gets into a dynamic of like, you're right with the mechanics, but then somebody else is like, well, I did do what I was supposed to do. Somebody else must have done that. Well, who else could have done that? And like, we get into that type of thing. Like, for example, like the leaving the gate open. I did lock the gate. Well, then who else could have left it open? The mail carrier, the paper boy, somebody just stopping by and coming up and knocking on the door, and then, not taking care of it, just a random person. Like, there's things that could happen. Because I'm getting there, this could end up in a very bitter fight where they don't want to explain it. They just seem to be very upset with you, and I feel like they just kind of walk away from you. I'm getting like this energy, like they just kind of walk away from you. They won't even explain it. They're kind of like, I know I did what I was supposed to do. The fact that you can't figure it out is not my problem, and they just walk away, which, oh boy. When I'm feeling that energy come through, it's kind of like, that's just going to make you more mad. That's going to make you more mad, and that's not going to help. Oh boy. So the whole point of this reading, I feel like it's like somebody has to own it to shut it down. Whoever you are, if you're watching it, that gives you the advantage to know what's going on. Doesn't mean you have to do anything. Doesn't mean you have to do anything. But it's kind of like if you're the one listening, you have the best chance of changing the course of this situation, whoever you may be. Because I feel like there could be some, I don't know, I feel like this could really become a grudge match for some reason. Because this other person's like, I didn't do anything wrong. And if it just keeps going back and forth, I didn't do anything wrong, and nobody's willing to explain and talk things out calmly, it just becomes like a grudge match. Because I feel like this energy here, the Nine of Wands, like, I did what I was supposed to do. Then you're like, and then your side is like, well, the evidence here is saying it did not work out right, so if you did what you were supposed to do, how did that happen? How did that roll off the table and break if you did what you were supposed to do? If you locked the gate, how did the dog get out? Like, how did that happen? I keep feeling your energy on your side, like, the mechanics are showing, obviously, that did not happen. There's, like, I'm getting very upset about it. I'm feeling that upset energy. Like, it clearly didn't happen that way. It's obvious. Like, we can see the outcome. We have to figure out, like, what happened. Because I feel like there's another factor, a hidden factor. Because I'm getting the Queen of Cups with the release. Like, somebody else knows what happened. It's almost like, especially if you have kids, and they just kind of make a screw up, and then they see how other people are very upset, and they're like, I'm not going to own up to that because I don't want to be barbecued. Especially with kids, like, I don't know. If they see two grown-ups arguing and they're very upset with each other and they actually did it, and they're like, I don't want to get barbecued. I don't want to get yelled at. I don't want bad things to happen, like getting grounded or whatever. So I'm just going to not say anything. Because somebody's keeping a secret. Somebody else knows what happened, and they're very worried about telling you what happened. There's a third party. I think there's a third party. I think there's a third party in this. I think there's a third party. So something isn't right. It's all about perception and kind of like, wait, let's step back and kind of like, all right, when did you lock that gate? When did you walk away, and when did the dog get out? Let's look at that. Just kind of go to their benefit, kind of like, all right, so you locked the gate. What time was that? Because after you left, at some point, somebody unlocked it. So we got to try to figure out who unlocked it so we can stop that from being another problem later. I feel like that's the way we have to redirect this, because the mechanics are like, no, that obviously didn't work. And you're right, it didn't, but the reason, the question marks, we got to fill in those question marks. Once this starts going the way it should, I feel like there's energy here, kind of like, you know, with the Page of Pentacles and the Guilt card, in the environment, there's problems in the sense of like, somebody knows what happened, doesn't want to come forward because there's a lot of hubbub about the whole situation. They don't want to get like barbecued. And they're really kind of nervous because it feels like they've seen the energy go back and forth and like, oh, I screwed that up. Nobody did anything maliciously. I don't feel like anybody did anything maliciously, at least in this reading. It's a general read. Take it where you need to take it. But I'm not feeling malicious energy here. So I feel like somebody is afraid to come forward. And they're just kind of like, they get it. They know what they're not supposed to do again. And they're paying attention and they're learning. But they're like, I don't want to get ripped apart. I don't want to get ripped apart, so I don't want to say anything. But it's ironic because they are learning the lesson. Like, oh, I got to make sure that doesn't happen again. What are you doing with this? Because usually Capricorn stands in stability. You know, you got a lot of Earth cards coming in. Time will tell. The truth will come forward at some point. That's the Eight of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles, once you figure it out, you'll be like, oh, all right, that's what happened. You just want to know what happened and make sure that the reason it happened does not repeat. That's all you want. I want to know what actually happened, the truth. And then I just want to have that security to know I don't have to worry about it happening again, or at least be like, oh, okay, the male person came. Okay, so if the male person's doing that, I wonder if I put in, like, maybe the way I'm feeling Capricorn energy, like, okay, the male person's doing it. The male person's leaving that gate open. So sometimes we have different male people. It's not always going to be the same male person, so I can't just center on this one male person. Maybe if I make it so it's a self-closing gate, maybe if I update it that way, maybe that would solve my problem. It's kind of like, oh, that's what's going on. Oh, yeah, I can't solve that person by person because sometimes we have different mail carriers. But if I get a self-closing gate, that should work out. It's almost like putting things on the table. Do I need to put a sign on the table, or do I need to put a border around the table so that things can't roll off? Like, do I have to make it that type of table where, you know, things roll to the center and not to the edges? I don't know. I feel like I'll find a different way to work with it. Kind of like once I realize what happened, I'm like, all right, let's deal with it that way. I feel like I just need to know actually what happened, but I feel like we want to avoid the grudge match. The grudge match doesn't serve anybody. It makes sense why you feel the way you feel. Like, it clearly does. But I feel like I want to move forward with a solution. I don't want to get mired down in like, you did, I did thing. So I want to move forward to success, to solution. And I feel like with her right now, with the Queen of Wands, like, don't get caught up in the gender, I'm feeling like I want to get to the point where I move forward in success. I don't want to get mired down in, like, you know, you, no, you, no, you, no, you, no, you. I don't want to get mired down in that. I want to center on solution. Does that help? I hope that helps. All right, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, go ahead, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.